you find out life's this game of inches. So is football. Because in either game, life or football, the margin for error is so small. I mean, one half a step too late or too early, and you don't quite make it. 1/2 second too slow, too fast, you don't quite catch it. The inches we need are everywhere around us.
Welcome into the Gibson Fantasy Football Podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are back. It's week 2. Football happened. Can you believe it?
Some passes were thrown. Some touchdowns were caught. Some people got tackled. It was a great time.
It's a wild world out there.
Yeah. What a crazy first week. Usually I would put some money down on the pro picks, like picking all the games, and because usually you got a good chance of winning a big amount of money. But this week I'm so glad I didn't do it because it was a tie. And anytime there's a tie in the NFL, throws it right out the window. So
yeah, 2 overtime games, 1 tied. The other one was almost a tie. It was just craziness. Upsets all over the place. I mean, week 1's always a bit wild. It's crazy too, because it's the first week of football we've seen. So it's all that's on our mind. Whereas if some of these things happen in week 8, we're like, we already have 7 other weeks of data. Like, it's not that big of a deal. So it's really easy to get caught up in whatever happens in week 1 and be like, oh my God, it's a huge deal.
Yeah.
So anyway, we are here to talk about week 1 and to preview week 2 and get some fun stuff going today. We're back with Survivor picks, upsets of the week. Going to go through the matchups and see how we fared this week. Yeah. One of us is going to be happier than the other, but we'll get there in a minute.
Yeah. Ready to jump the gun on this one.
All right. So you can find us at GibsonFantasyFootball.com, Gibson_FF on Twitter, and Gibson Fantasy Football, all one word, on YouTube, Podbean, Spotify, and Instagram. The preview. So let's start off by taking a peek at what happened last week. So we'll start with it from the perspective of our league, but certainly that'll allow us to talk about many of the performances that I'm sure folks out there are also curious to hear our thoughts on. So there is one person that unfortunately warrants themselves a little song this week. And so we will share that for a quick moment here and indulge in that for folks. So here we go. Oh dear, there's always somebody who got the lowest score and is the loser of the week. And this week it was none other than Mr. J.
Yeah.
Rough times. Yeah. His team did not perform. I actually thought it was going to be Kreger, but he managed to conquer Jay just by a few points there to avoid getting the loser of the week.
Yes, he did. Yeah, he did.
So we'll get to that matchup in a second, but first we must crown a champion, Aaron.
Wow.
And there can only be one champion.
Yeah.
And it's the most worthy champion.
Yeah, okay.
A glorious champion.
Oh, easy.
It's probably a bit much. But let's go see that champion.
Champ is back.
Oh, guess who's back?
Yeah. Week 1.
Josh is back. Woo-hoo.
Week 1. Justin Jefferson just went off. I mean,
nuclear. So, I mean, we'll get there, but him and Mahomes tied for the highest scoring players in our league.
Yeah.
That tells you all you need to know about that. But let's dig in. So the first matchup we talked about was with Jay there, how he finished with the lowest score of the week. And he was up against the Dan man. So if we take a look here, he had a pretty good day from Lamar. Had a fantastic day from A.J. Brown, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Not a bad day from, Mark Andrews. Pretty good day from McLaurin. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, underperformed there from Renfro. Derrick Henry did not meet expectations. Tucker and the Dallas defense. But we kind of knew the Dallas defense was a bit risky. Yeah. Anything on his side of the matchup there that kind of surprised you or stands out as you're kind of running through the folks he had in there?
Just worried about his running backs because seems to be the backbone of his team. So,
yeah, it is interesting. I mean, I think Derrick Henry's going to have better days. He had 82 rush yards. He just didn't get in the end zone, right, which he normally does. Clyde Edwards-Helaire's not going to have 2 receiving touchdowns every week, so that probably balances out those two. But yeah, Jacobs bit risky. He's in a timeshare there, so we'll see what he can do with Samir White. But your Raiders had a tough day against the Chargers there.
Yeah, they did, and it worries me a little bit because is the New York Giants really that good, or what happened to Tennessee? Is their O-line just not as good as it was? So I don't know. That's going to be an interesting one. We all know how I feel about Ryan Tannehill. Not a fan. So or Tennessee.
And as much as your hate on Tannehill may not be completely valid, I will say one of the players we rhymed off on his roster is A.J. Brown, who had himself a huge day, but is no longer a Titan. He had that in that new fresh green Eagles uniform, and I think that's a huge reason why Tennessee struggled.
Yeah, they didn't have that go-to wide receiver.
No. Robert Woods was not looking good. Treylon Burks was okay. Kyle Phillips stepped up, but nobody really stood out in the passing game. So, the Giants were just stacking the box on Henry and saying, "Go ahead and try to beat us." Right?
Yep.
On Dan's side, we were messaging about this, and Jalen Hurts versus Justin Herbert was a decision I was kind of having to make, but I went with Herbert. Dan ended up with Hurts, and through 1 week he has the edge. So we'll see. And the crazy part is that he didn't even get a passing touchdown, but he had 90 rush yards with a rushing touchdown, which is craziness.
Yeah, both of those quarterbacks though don't come close to Mahomes. So.
Whoa, we'll get there. Ease yourself, my man. Patience. And also had the only amazing tight end of the week, Travis Kelce, who was absolutely on fire and caught one of those touchdowns you were talking about.
Yeah. Tight end that you definitely want on your team.
We were debating, ironically, Andrews versus Mahomes, and they played each other in week 1, and it wasn't close. Triple the points for Kelce. So I don't think that'll be the same every week, but we'll see. Through 1 week of data, Kelce looks like the tight end one again this year.
Yeah.
And then Swift had himself a huge day. Fournette had a pretty good outing. Cooks was decent. Sutton was okay. And, he just had a pretty balanced attack there. Finished with the second highest score on the week. Bless you. And nobody really killed him. Everybody was, decent. Anything on Dan's side to take away there from any of his players?
No. Look, I think we pretty much already said it. And, tight end number 1.
The only other thing we'll throw out there is that Najee left that game early and may or may not play next week. So that's something to keep an eye on.
Oh, really? Oh, that's right. Yeah. And we talked about that. If he has an injury to his wide running backs, it could be hurtful. But he's got a strong team.
He does. Looks good through 1 week, so we'll see. We'll see how that pans out. Shift over to the other side of the spectrum there, the Champione, myself. So, over it against OMG. Things started out kind of scary with a 33.5-point week from Josh A-Aron on Thursday night, which made me a little concerned. Didn't love that. Luckily, Singletary didn't have too big of a day, and my man Gabe Davis helped balance out some of that. Yeah. But I mean, huge day from Josh A-Aron, huge day from Devontae Adams. He looks like he could be the wide receiver 1. Well, 2 probably, because the other one's on my side. But big day from Chubb, huge touchdown catch from Judy. But it fades pretty quickly after that. Deontay Johnson was okay. Singletary, Hawkinson got goosed by Devonta Smith.
Yeah.
1 point from his defense.
Devonta Smith, I thought would have done better. And especially in what was that score? 38 something or
38-35, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That's
a
head
shocker.
scratcher. Yeah.
He had 4 targets, so he did throw it to him, but they just couldn't connect. But I mean, AJ Brown with 12 targets, he had 4. That doesn't look good after 1 week. So I mean, I think he's not going to goose you, on a weekly basis, but he's not looking like a top 30 receiver that we thought he might be.
And that's the problem, right? Like you got this guy that goosed you this week, and then when do you put him back in? You have nothing on him right now. There's no, like you said, no data, nothing. So now you go in the week 2. Do you put him in? Do you keep him in?
I mean, I wouldn't love to if I could avoid it, right? But
yes, if you can,
depends who you got, right? You got to look at, we look at his bench. We'll kind of take a peek when we look at next week's matchups, but there's not a ton of great options on his bench necessarily that he could throw in there. So you might have to. We'll see. Yeah. And then my team had a nice week, no doubt about it, led by, as you referenced, Justin Jefferson. That was, oh my God, I don't know what Green Bay was doing, man. They were just like, we got Jair Alexander, one of the probably top 10 corner, maybe even top 5 cornerback in the league. And they decided not to shadow Jefferson and thought we'll just cover him with zone coverage. And that was an absolute mistake.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
My goodness. So, he finished, 9 for 184 and 2, which is insanity. He accounted for 66% of Kirk Cousins' passing.
That's ridiculous.
That shouldn't happen.
He's another one of those quarterbacks. That's just, I don't know.
Actually,
I don't know what.
I got one more fun one for you. Justin Jefferson had more receiving yards than Jacoby Brissett had passing yards for Cleveland.
Oh, wow. And Cleveland still got the win.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
That tells you just where things are at and after week 1. But yeah, Jefferson, Herbert had a good day. Jamar Chase had a huge day. As we said, Gabe Davis, McCaffrey, not a vintage McCaffrey performance, but if 13.7 fantasy points and half PPR is a bad day, I'll take that all day. Javonte wasn't amazing, but 11 catches for 43 yards is craziness. They just kept throwing the ball to him at the end of the game, even though, my goodness, I still can barely talk about it. They lost to the friggin' Seahawks, which is craziness. But so only real kind of duds on my end was CeeDee Lamb, and a lot of that's because Dak got hurt, which we'll talk about in the injury section here.
Yeah, and lots of tight ends didn't perform that well this week, it felt like. So, unless you had Travis Kelce and a couple other guys, but they didn't do so well in the tight ends.
No,
and even OMG Hawkinson only got 5 points. And that's
4 for 38.
Detroit, it was Detroit going up against Philly, and you guys had both of those tight ends. And I mean, you look at that score and you're thinking, come on, there's got to be some points. Like, so really, Brown stole it from everybody on Philly.
He sure did.
And St. Brown stole it, basically. on Detroit side. So, and the running backs. So,
well, then we'll go to him next then. So let's shift over to your matchup, who unfortunately, it was a close one. There was it was back and forth.
It was closer than it should have been.
Yeah. Monroe St. Brown was riding the pine for you, but tell us about your team there and what happened.
Man, week 1, right? You got. I thought I put in the guys that I should have listened to you, though. You were kind of concerned about Eckler. I should have listened to that. I shouldn't have put Eckler in. Yeah, because he goose egged me. Sorry, not Eckler. Sorry, Akers. Cam Akers. Sorry, not Cam Akers. Is it Cam Akers?
Yeah, you're right.
Sorry. So I should have listened to you on that one. Definitely not going to be playing again. My tight end, another Knox. I thought signing the big deal. I thought at least big opening game, something would come from him. 1 point. But my bench, is really where I saw it. St. Brown 16 points, Gibson 16 points, Miles Sanders 17 points. Now, 2 guys, Miles Sanders and Thomas, I felt like we're kind of a risk because they're both coming back from injuries. And what we're going to get from them, who knew? But Thomas 20 points. I mean, that's a hard one to have on your bench. Who knows if he's going to continue getting that throughout the season? He will get points, I think, throughout the season. He will be a target for Jameson Winston. So I think he's somebody that I'm going to try to work into this lineup next week. There's a few guys. I'm really kind of, I'm thinking week 2 and I know we're talking week 1. So, but it's going to be a hard calls to make on this one. So,
yeah.
But I thought it was a lot closer because I had, Knox 1 point and Akers 0 points. So I thought because of those guys, I thought for sure wasn't going to win. And it showed.
You had a huge, if you took away Knox, Akers, and Higgins, who left the game with a concussion, so that's not his fault. But you take those 3 away and your entire team cleared 9 or more points, including your kicker and defense. So, I mean, you throw in just, anybody off your bench and you're coming out with the W there.
And I think I got lucky because Wilson too. I think if he had played any other team that week 1, I think it's going to be a better game for him. I think the nerves, everything just got to him that game. Yeah. And, everything's new, the system, all that. And that's why it was a lot closer because obviously Russell didn't have the best of games on the Monday nighter. So,
no, just enough to get the job done.
But that duo, that Evans duo of Diggs and Cup, that's lethal. Lethal.
Go ahead. Yeah. To wrap up your side, so Mahomes with the 5 touchdowns was insane.
Yeah.
He's not going to do that every week, but that he made a statement to say, Tyreek Hill left, but we'll be just fine. Mike Evans had a big day, 5 for 71 and 1. Joe Mixon, man, 7 catches for 63 receiving yards. That was, a shocker. I don't know if that's going to persist, but that's not normally where he makes his hay. James Conner, we kind of both loved coming into the season. And even though Arizona got hammered, Conner still had a nice day. And Waddle had that huge catch there that he took all the way to the end zone. So
that was big.
Through 1 week, we were debating on it, but Butker left and Carlson played, but they both finished with the same points. So either way, you were okay for a kicker. And that Ravens D did their job against the Jets there.
Yeah.
Evan got lucky with that Rams D because Buffalo turned the ball over 4 times. They actually did okay, even though they got torched for 31 points. He had Butker, but he really made his hay with that Diggs Cup combo that you talked about.
Yeah.
Dalvin Cook had. Yeah, you know what? Neither was. They actually finished, I think, as the 3rd and 4th tight end on the week or something, or 4th and 6th tight end on the week. They both were in the, not necessarily better than wide receivers, but it worked out decent for him, all things considered.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a strong bench, which is going to be difficult. Woods, Dak's down. He's got A.J. Dillon. He'll probably need to work in there next week, but we'll see if he can keep this rolling. Anything else here before we head to the last matchup?
Nope.
All right. So it was your two siblings there took on a rivalry in week 1, and last year's last place finisher Kreger started off with a week 1 L.
Yeah. Alvin Kamara, Pittman had a great game.
Yeah, he looks awesome.
Kyle Pitts, that's a little worrisome in Atlanta because he's a decent tight end, but only 2 points putting up.
Yeah, he was shadowed though by Marshawn Lattimore a lot, and Drake London was playing his first game, so I think the defense really focused on him. I think he'll have better games, but maybe he isn't the top 3 guy we thought he was. We'll see. Still too early to tell, I think, on that one. But yeah, Keenan Allen was off to a huge day, and then he left. Mike Williams was a no-show. Aaron Jones had a down day. Kamara, Pitts, all like you said. He was mostly, Joe Burrow, despite 5 turnovers, still finished as an okay option. Pittman had a huge day, and Barkley, man, a running back 1 on the first week. That's a statement.
Yeah. He's back.
Yeah. No.
And I think that will be consistent throughout the season with Barkley.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be the running back 1 every week, but
but
I agree with you. I think he's a top 12 option as long as he can stay healthy.
Yeah.
He's locked in. 6 receptions and then 164 yards on the ground. Like, he was entirely their offense.
Yeah.
So Don on the other side rode, an okay day from Murray with a decent game from Hill and a huge game from Taylor, 161 yards and a touchdown. So picking up where he left off. And her kicker and defense, man, what a combo. We debated on the Buffalo defense against the Rams. That turned out to be great. 17 points. And then her kicker, man, Young Hoku, who she drafted early because she loves him. And for good reason. 19 points. That's crazy.
That's silly. We got to change this in this fantasy.
I keep saying we got to get rid of kickers, man, but we'll see.
No kicker should get over 10 points.
Crazy. That kicker was like the 3rd highest scorer on her team.
17
got more points from her defense than like anyone else. Her defense and kicker than anyone else in the league. Jesus. Yeah, she had a down day from a few folks there.
That's not good for DK Metcalf because Seattle still came out on the winning side of that game, and
he had 7 catches, but he could only get 36 yards out of it. That offense is in trouble.
Yeah,
they narrowly escaped week 1, but they didn't look good.
No, but that's what they're going for. They're not going to be a fantasy favorite team. They're just going to be a team that just get us that first down.
That's it. Yeah, they spread the ball around. There was 4 tight ends involved, multiple receivers, a couple different running backs.
That's going to be their way. So,
and then Thielen, 3 for 36. That's because Jefferson took everything, so that's not going to happen every week. And Elijah Mitchell, unfortunately, done for 2 months with an injury there, so he's gone down.
That's too bad.
Yeah, so she'll have to make some pivots for next week, but gets that W to open up the season, and she actually has some pretty good bench options that she can pivot to.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's week 1. Let's run through the folks who are dealing with injuries right now. So, as we mentioned, Elijah Mitchell, week 9 is his earliest. Dak Prescott was the other big one, broken thumb. It said initially 6 to 8 weeks. Now they've dropped it to maybe 4 to 6 weeks. They're saying they don't want to put him on IR because they think he could get back in 4 weeks.
We should be clear about that. Jerry Jones said that he's not putting him on IR, not the GM. Like, I've never heard that before. I've never heard an owner saying this guy's not going on the IR.
He doesn't want fans to be like, "Oh, the season's over. We should give up."
Yes, but as fantasy owners, we can't put him on the IR now. I can't.
Well, no, we can put him on our injured reserve.
Really? Because he's in another league. I mean, I couldn't put him on the IR, but
you should be able to. Maybe not yet. Maybe not until his status has changed. But you should be able to move him there at some point.
Yeah.
Good. Chris Godwin, they brought him back, and he tweaked his hamstring, and now he might miss a few weeks. It seems silly. I don't know. It could have been a fluke thing, even though he's coming back from the knee, but not ideal there. Keenan Allen also went out with a hamstring. He's going to miss this week. Hoping to be back next week. T. Higgins is in concussion protocol. I don't think he's going to clear in time for this game. We'll see, but I would say he's probably out till next week. And then guys that are probably going to miss this week, Michael Gallup and Rondell Moore, but we're not sure yet. And then players to monitor, J.K. Dobbins, Alan Lazard, George Kittle, who all missed last week. And then Najee, Wan'Dale Robinson, DeAndre are the other two that are really of concern. Swift, Ertz, Julio, Gage, and Fournette are on the injury report, but I think they'll all just be fine.
Yeah.
So mostly the four there: Dobbins, Lazard, Kittle, Najee, Robinson. So those are the five that you really want to keep an eye on. I think the other ones will be fine. And then Rondell Moore and Gallup, I would expect to miss again, but we'll see. All right, Aaron. We've arrived at the time where you're going to get two segments in a row where you can brag against me after I got to play my song to open the show here.
I know. I almost went for the triple header. I almost, if I had won my fantasy, I feel like that would have been the triple header. But 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
That's what Meatloaf said.
Yeah. Love Meatloaf. Yeah, I had the thought, I'm thinking upset on Survivor.
Yeah, we'll go Survivor first. So you were taking the Eagles there to beat the Lions, which was actually a much closer game than
it was close. Like
at the end, it was not close for a while.
No. But that Detroit team has no quit in them. So I mean, you got, I'm not a big fan of obviously their quarterback, just for just not being the greatest quarterback in the league, but you kind of have to cheer for them. I mean, they're just a team that's been down on so much, and I do like St. Brown. I like Swift. I like the passion the head coach brings to that team too. So, but yeah, I did think the Eagles were going to outcome that, and thank God they did, because if they didn't, the Philly newspapers would have been just on. Yeah. I mean, that would have been it. So. Thank God they won.
Yeah. So you started with a 1-win streak here. We'll see what kind of a streak you can put together. But I took a risk on the Titans over the Giants. When I picked it, I felt a little bit scared about it. But I didn't actually think they were going to lose. And sure enough, the Giants came back and won the game, man. And credit to Dayball, right? He said, "Okay, it's 20-19. We just scored a touchdown. We're not going to overtime. We don't like our chances. We are here to win, and so we're going to go for a 2-point conversion."
Yep.
It was not the cleanest, smoothest looking play, but Barkley found his way in for a 2-point convert, and they won the game.
Well, think about it. I think there was 2 games last year where teams tried that. I know Harborough, Baltimore tried it, and
twice in a row, I think.
And everybody just was up in arms. I thought, they were going to fire him right then and there. But genius, like when it pays off, genius, right? So,
well, I like it in this situation, right? Like when you're a team that like you're the superior team, and going to overtime probably means you're going to win the game. I don't, I can see why you might kick the extra point and say I like our chances, but when you're coming off a terrible season and you're by far the underdog and you have a chance to steal the game, like take that chance, man. Take a shot.
Oh, but if they hadn't gotten it, New York would have been all over them. I mean, they would have been over them. So, but
the tide swings.
I love it. And like players, you just see them interacting with the coach and just how happy they all looked when that happened. So,
all right, so let's shift into this week then. I'm going to try to get a 1-win streak going, and you're going to try to keep yours rolling and get to 2. Do you got one ready to go, or do you want me to rock it first?
You go first. Oh, there's 2 Monday night games this week.
I know. I'm excited about that.
Why?
Usually it happens week 1. It's very strange to me. There must have been some sort of programming thing that was going on. I don't know what was going on Monday night, but something must have happened there. So I'm going to go with, I'm going to do this again where I pick a team that I don't necessarily want the rest of the season and hope that this works out, even though I didn't, work out well in week 1. I'm going to take the Browns over the Jets. I don't love the Browns, but I think that running back duo of Chubb and Hunt is good enough to get the job done there. So I'm going to go with the Browns over the Jets and hope that pans out. Who are you locking in this week to keep that streak alive?
There's some closer games. Wow. I feel like the clock's ticking. I apologize. There's just so many.
There's a lot.
Washington, Detroit. Staying away from that game. Seattle, 49ers.
Wouldn't touch that.
Yeah, jeez. Like, I don't want to go with Cleveland as well, too. You know what? I'll stay safe, and I'll say because it's a Monday night game, it's at home, the Bills over the Titans. I know it's a little early to take them, but I'm just not confident in these other teams right now.
Hey, I mean, you got a 1-win streak going. You want to, if you can keep that streak alive, there'll come a point where I can't catch you, right? So you got to just, you're playing to win there. So I like it. Bills over the Titans.
Yeah, I feel like I'll get a better read on some of this as it goes on, right? Like, but some of these games just too close.
Now, unfortunately, we went in different directions. I took a smaller upset with the Patriots, and that did not pay off. The Dolphins took care of business. And you took the Bears to beat the 49ers.
The Bears.
Now, I got to say, I think the weather played a factor in this one. You might have got a little help from Mother Nature. But kudos to you for having the cojones to say, I'm riding with the Bears.
Just, because Trey Lance first start, first kind of, it's his team. Pressure's on him. No Kittle. There was just some factors. And the rain helped. They can't throw that out there. The rain helped. But I like the Bears. I like their exciting team. I loved watching parts of those games when Fields was scrambling there. And I forget who he threw that pass to, but just
Dante Pettis, man, the former 49er.
That was pretty sweet, man. That was a pretty awesome one. And the crowd was loving it.
And then he hit the other St. Brown brother, right? Equanimous St. Brown.
3 minutes after the other Brown one, for the Brown got the touchdown for Detroit. So pretty cool. Got to be proud parents right there, right?
No, I give Fields kudos. Fantasy, I'm still not on that offense, but in real life, you got to give them some, like the Detroit Lions, they did well and they overcame a pretty tough situation. And I do root for Fields. I like him. I think he's a solid guy. So, do you have another miracle up your sleeve for this week, or what are you thinking?
Well, I'm taking a look at it.
How big of an upset will you go?
You know what? Here's my upset pick of the week.
Who's it going to be?
Atlanta over the Rams.
Whoa! Here we go.
I don't think it's
not a believer that the Rams will bounce back after getting hammered by the Bills.
Yeah. This is my upset pick of the week.
I don't mind it. You know what? I think the Rams are going to come out angry and, look good, and they'll be at home again, and they need to salvage some dignity from last week. So I think they'll be good, but there's a chance that, between the O-line and the losses on defense and Cam Akers and Allen Robinson not stepping up, are they going to be in for a tough game? I mean, the Falcons have a pretty good
Yeah,
good team. You know, they're not a great team, but they played hard and they put the Saints to the test last week.
And it was a close game with it was close. Yeah, sorry, you just said it. So yeah, I'm just repeating what you said. It was a close game with the Saints, and obviously it's the Saints, but I mean, still, like they were on the road. No, they were at home.
Yeah.
Well, that's my upset.
I'm gonna make you happy. I'm gonna take your Raiders to upset the Cardinals.
Okay.
It's a pretty heavy favorite, which actually kind of surprises me. I know the Cardinals, are a good team and they've got Kyler Murray and whatnot, but they got massacred by Kansas City.
Yeah.
And
Vegas is favored.
Pardon?
Is Vegas favored or not?
I didn't think so. Are they favored? Maybe I read that the opposite way.
I think it's Vegas 5.5.
Oh, you're right. Never mind. All right, I'll have to pivot. That makes more sense. I was wondering about that. I was like, why are they?
I like your pick, though.
Yeah. Could have made him your survivor pick if you feel that good about it. All right.
I love him. I do, but No,
I get you.
Excuse me.
Oh, you know what? That'd be a fun one. All right. You know what? I'm gonna take the team that destroyed me last week in Survivor. The Giants to upset the Panthers.
Oh, I like that one.
Like the Giants.
But the Giants are favored in that, aren't they?
Really? Oh, man, I went the wrong way again.
I mean,
goodness. Switching around on me here. All right. And the Lions are favored against the Commanders.
There's the upset of the week.
Yeah, that might be it, right? All right. Tell you what, I'll reverse it then. Let's go the other way. I'll go Panthers upset the Giants.
Oh, okay.
Baker figures it out. Realizes he needs to use McCaffrey more and DJ more, and get that sorted out.
I like it.
Okay. Now we made it through that. That was tougher than I thought it would be. I was struggling to get the online figured out.
We're not even putting money on this, but we're struggling through it.
I know, man. It's tough times here.
Yeah.
All right. Matchups for this week. So let's start with the non-me and you matchup. And let's go to two folks who suffered an L and are looking to bounce back. Your brother and father. OMG versus Krager. Lineups are not fully set at this point. We still got some pieces to kind of see, but let's take a look at their teams here and take a peek and see what we think. So we got Josh Allen there, Joe Burrow, and we got Adams and Deontay versus Pittman and Hollywood, Chubb and Singletary versus Kamara and Jones, Hawkinson versus Pitts, Judy, and currently he's got Smith still in there versus Barkley and Mike Williams. Where are you leaning on this one? And who are some, I think, players that kind of stand out to you here?
Well, I'm kind of leaning towards Craig on this one. Just feel like he can throw in some of those guys that were on his bench. There wasn't too many guys, though. Kittle still is injured, so I don't think he's going to play next week, is he?
No, he's going to roll with Pitts, which is, if Atlanta upsets the Rams like you think they might, that might be a good situation.
I'm going to go with Craig on this week.
All right, going with Krager. I'm taking a look here. Oh, man. I go OMG here. Let's make it interesting.
I like it.
We went. Oh, I didn't start that. We went 2 for 4 last week each because we both picked the. So we'll see if this week we can get a little bit more disparity based on picking different people.
Yeah, I like it.
All right, the next non-me and you matchup is Jay versus Evan. Jay, obviously, the loser of the week, coming off an L, and then Evan snuck one against you there. So, does Evan keep the momentum rolling? Does Jay finally get in the W column? What stands out here? So, comparison to quarterback, Russell Wilson versus Lamar, wide receiver, that Diggs Cup combo obviously is the better one over AJ Brown and Renfro, Montgomery and Cook, Henry and Hilaire. Ertz versus Andrews, and then DJ Moore and maybe Schultz again if he plays them versus Jacobs and Kirk. And then Evan is currently without a kicker, but I'm sure he'll figure that out.
Yeah, I'm leaning a little towards Evan on this one. Just because I think Henry's going to have a tough time against that Buffalo defense. So
true.
I mean, I know
Fair
he's
point.
going to have a bit of a bounce back, but I think he's going to struggle on there. I don't like the Tennessee Titans this team this year, and I think there's going to be a lot of frustration on that team. So,
yeah,
I just So
don't love the Dallas defense against the Bengals either. Jay might want to make a move there.
Well, Evan's got Los Angeles, right? The Rams.
Yeah, I like that better. The Rams defense against the Falcons.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you meant Dallas against Cincy.
I don't want to. Yeah, I wouldn't want to play the Dallas defense against the Bengals.
I'll
have a better week.
Drop them. There's other teams out there that you can try to get and pick up. So, but yeah, I'm leaning towards Evan on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I like to be contrarian here, but I can't on this one. I also think that Evan will get the W, and if that happens, I mean, we had him ranked 7th and 8th in our final standings, and he might start 2-0. So we might have to readjust our expectations.
Oh.
All right, let's move to you and Don, because I think the last one is the most intriguing here.
Well, I'm gonna win.
All right, that was quick and easy. Let's move on.
Yes. Hands down.
Mahomes versus Murray, Evans, whoever you put in there, instead of Higgins, because he's probably going to miss. So I guess Amon Ross coming in for you. And then you're up against Hill and Thielen, Mixon and Connor versus Taylor, and probably Patterson or Hunt Donald put in. Waller versus Knox, Waddle and Gibson versus Debo. And I'm going to suggest that she moves DK out and puts in Hunt or Patterson, whoever she didn't play in the running back spot. But yeah, so the lineups will get tinkered with a little bit. Probably going to play that Buffalo defense again. Looks like you got the Cleveland D against the Jets, so that's a nice matchup.
I went because I picked up Baltimore against the Jets. They did really well. So I was like, well, the Jets are not a good team. Really not a good team. So I'll see how this strategy works out. See how it works out first 2 weeks. So
yeah, targeting the Jets defense, the offense is a good plan for your defense.
I also picked up Wilson Jr. from San Fran because what's his name's out. So I don't know if I'm going to play him this week. I don't think I am. I'm hemming and hawing about it.
Right.
It is against Seattle. San Fran's at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I don't know, because I think he's going to have a couple weeks there where he's going to perform. Just what weeks will they be?
Yeah, it's going to be close. We'll see. So. All right, so you're going to go with you, obviously. And I'm going to stay contrarian on this one. I'm going to give the edge to Dawn. I think she's got just enough firepower to.
If you want dinner on the table tomorrow night, you better go with Dawn.
Yes, happy wife, happy life, as they say.
I get it. You're winking at me, right? I'm
That's
going
right.
with Dawn. Wink, wink.
Okay, now this one is an interesting one. 2 1-0 teams. Two really tight projections, which I don't always believe much of the projections, but I think in this case it's warranted. Dan and I matching up against each other. So we got that Hurts Herbert matchup, which scares me a little bit. Don't like playing against him. I definitely got the edge at wide receiver with Chase, Davis versus Sutton and Cooks.
Yeah.
But he's got that running back combo of Eckler, Harris, which versus McCaffrey and Devontae I actually don't mind. But then you get to Fournette and Swift, and it's like, holy geez. Although I got Jefferson, and I may or may not play CeeDee Lamb. I'm still debating on that.
Right.
I don't love playing CeeDee Lamb without Dak in the lineup, but we'll see. I might even swap that out to Zeke and take a shot that way, or I might just completely pivot. But yeah, I grabbed the Bengals defense. I think the Dallas offense is going to struggle, and he's got the Colts defense against the Jags, which I'm a little jealous of. That's a nice matchup.
Yeah.
So, and then tight end is obviously Kelsey versus Goddard. I mean, it could be Kelsey versus pretty much anybody, and he's going to have the edge. So, where do you land on this one? I think it's going to be a tight matchup. I'm a little nervous.
I wonder if Harris is going to even play for Pittsburgh this week. So, maybe there's 3 questionable running backs he's got on his team right now. I think at least 2 of those 3 are going to play, maybe even all 3. So,
yeah, I think Swift and Fournette will be fine. I'm definitely less confident in Najee.
Yeah,
he could play.
We'll so, for those reasons, I think I'm going to go with you on this one. So,
I appreciate that vote of confidence.
But Denver's got to give the ball more to Williams. I mean, they got to.
I know.
Give him the ball. Be consistent.
Well, they threw it to him a bunch. He just needs to get in the end zone. He fumbled at the goal line. Gordon fumbled at the goal line. He gets for a touchdown in that last game. He looks even better.
Keep feeding him the ball. Let him get consistent. Let him get into that rhythm. Keep feeding him the ball. Don't be bringing in Gordon. Leave Gordon on the bench. Leave him on the bench.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, he's on Dan's bench, and that's where he can stay.
Yeah. So they got to give him the ball a little more. But I do like your team on this one.
Yeah, CeeDee Lamb's the only question mark. That's the only spot I don't feel very confident in.
Right here. Who's Dallas's backup?
Cooper Rush.
Who's Dallas's backup?
Yeah, Cooper Rush. Exactly.
Okay, put him on the bench.
Yeah,
but then you put him on the bench.
Yeah,
I would put Zeke. Zeke.
I'd probably. I know. If they lean on the run game, right? That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah,
it might actually be a focal point here. And he actually looked pretty good. He just didn't get a lot of work.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I got to make some lineup decisions as we get closer. But all right. Well, it's time to get thirsty and to move on to the final part of the show here. Jump back over. Sec. The wrong thing. There we go. I have a drink on me. All right. Last sip segment. Oh, we did the virtual. What do you got this week?
Just a Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola. Nice. All right. So this week we got ourselves. We will finish with the game of the week again. We'll both pick our favorite game, but I'm going to run through a quick few players at each position, and we're going to play deal or no deal. So are they the real deal, or not the real deal. So, week one's always interesting. You get some players that come out and have big weeks that you're like, I don't think so. But some of them you're like, maybe they're here to stay. So it doesn't mean they have to repeat exactly as high as they got, but do you think that they're a reliable fantasy option, or do you think this was a one-hit wonder? So, quarterback, Carson Wentz, QB3, Jameis Winston, QB7, Marcus Mariota, QB10. Thoughts on those three?
Wentz, I like. Winston, I wouldn't mind. If you're in a deep pool and you had Prescott, I think two of those, Wentz and Winston, are probably your two best options if they're still out there. Yeah. Mariota, I'm not sure on,
Yeah.
But
I'm with you on Wentz. I quite like, at least for now. He'll still make some bad decisions, but for fantasy, he looked pretty good. Yeah. Winston's got a little bit of upside. Mariota actually had the second most fantasy points from rushing production of all quarterbacks behind only Jalen Hurts. He was 12 for 72 and a touchdown on the ground. So that makes him interesting. Yeah. I mean, week one, right? I'm not bought in, but if he can sustain that kind of rushing production, then maybe he's interesting. So he's probably no deal, but he's worth keeping an eye on. And I think the other two are reasonable streaming options.
Yeah.
All right. Wide receivers. Michael Thomas, wide receiver 8. Devin Duvernay, wide receiver 9. Robbie Anderson, wide receiver 10. Jahan Dotson, wide receiver 13. So Thomas, Duvernay, Anderson, Dotson.
Definitely Thomas. Deal for Thomas. I don't know if he's going to put up, like I said before, 20 points for fantasy or be on the high end, whatever your fantasy points end up being for those games. But I don't think he's always going to be that high. But I do think he could be consistent with Winston this season. So I do like that. And the other guys I'm not too sold on right now.
Yeah, I think, like you said, Michael Thomas could be good. 5 for 57 and 2 touchdowns. So, I think the 2 touchdowns has historically not been his bread and butter. He's not really a red zone threat. So that'll fade a bit. But yeah, he could be a top 24, top 30 option. So I don't mind him. Definitely not sold on Duvernay or Robbie Anderson. I do like Jahan Dotson, the rookie, though. I think he's intriguing. 2 touchdowns in week one. Obviously, again, just like Thomas, that's going to fade, but I think he's interesting. All right. Running back, Cordero Patterson, running back 4. CEH, running back 6. Dontrell Hilliard, running back 7. James Robinson, running back 8.
Patterson's not too bad. He had a good game. I do like him. There's some upside.
Tyler Algier was a healthy scratch before the game, and then Damian Williams hurt his ribs. So Patterson was kind of the only show in town, which was a big part of that. But
I don't know. I feel like that's going to be a throwing team. It seems like a bit of a throwing team. So I'm not.
He caught 2 receiving touchdowns. So I mean,
he did
could bode well. But
is it going to be consistent throughout the season? Yeah, Hillard, and out of those guys, Patterson probably for deal.
Yeah, I think now that Damian Williams is banged up, Algier will be active, but I think Patterson, clearly going to be involved. It's probably a sell high because I don't think he'll ever have as good of a game as he just had. But that said, he's probably still an RB3 flex option. CEH is intriguing, but I wouldn't trust it just yet. Hilliard was a fluke. He caught 2 receiving touchdowns. And then James Robinson, he looks really good coming off that Achilles injury. I still think Etienne is going to take over at some point, but it's possible that he's the guy and Etienne's the secondary option and just comes in for receiving work. But the underlying metrics and usage say otherwise. So not completely sold, but he's probably pretty good for the start of the season, at least until Etienne can get established. All right, last but not least, these are always wild. Tight ends. OJ Howard, tight end 2, 2 catches with 2 touchdowns. Taysom Hill, tight end 3, actually had only 1 catch, but had 4 rushes for 60-something yards and a touchdown. Gerald Everett, tight end 4, and Zach Ertz, tight end 7.
Yeah, I'm not too sold on the tight ends, to be honest with you. They're hit and miss weeks, right? So,
yeah, I mean, Ertz was doing nothing. I mean, it was coming off a calf strain, but he caught a garbage time touchdown to salvage his day. OJ Howard, like I said, he only had 2 catches, but they both happened to be for touchdowns. So, that's a pretty rare situation to occur there, and for the Texans. I don't trust Taysom Hill. I think that's, he's got flukiness to him because he's a gadget player that rushes at the goal line and stuff, but I wouldn't trust that. Gerald Everett for the Chargers is intriguing because Keenan Allen's out, and they're a high passing offense. So he's, a good bet to get a touchdown on a weekly basis, which is really what you're looking for when you get outside of the top tight ends.
Is Taysom Hill listed as a tight end?
Tight end eligible.
He's not listed as a QB. Wow.
Because even though he carries the ball and even make the occasional throw, he's listed as a tight end because that's the position they moved him to.
Huh.
Yeah. All right. Any final thoughts on those deal or no deal players before we pick our favorite game of the week?
No, I think there's a few guys to keep your eye on though, in those names.
Yeah.
And,
a couple trade high guys, and then some interesting guys that are worth going out there and picking up. Yeah,
for sure.
All right, Aaron. Last but not least, game of the week. Who is what's the game that you're most excited for this week?
There's a few games, but I got to think tomorrow night's Thursday nighter. LA and KC, they had some bangers last season, so I'm excited for that. I'm excited for that game.
Both meetings last year, even though they went 1-1, cleared the 54-point over/under, and it's a 54.5-point over/under tomorrow. So it's going to be a good one, and I'm right there with you. But I actually went a different direction. I chose the Vikings and Eagles.
Yeah, I saw that.
A Monday nighter. I'm excited to see those two. I'm really curious to see how good are the Eagles and how good are the Vikings. The Vikings took care of business against Green Bay. The Eagles were hammering the Lions, but then kind of let them come back. So I'm very curious to see how this one pans out and who gets the W here. And I think it'll tell us a bit about each team and where they're at moving forward.
Yeah. No, I like that game. Another game that caught my eye too is Baltimore-Miami. That's going to be an interesting kind of game.
Intriguing.
To see what those two teams do.
Yeah.
Buffalo and Tennessee could be even a game that could be a little exciting. I just want to see Buffalo beat up on Tennessee. So there you go.
You might very well get your wish.
Yeah.
All right. Well, as always, you can find us at GibsonFantasyFootball.com, Gibson_FF on Twitter, or Gibson Fantasy Football, all one word, Instagram, YouTube, Podbean, and Spotify. Please like and subscribe, and feel free to comment or come find us and interact. And until next time, clear eyes, full heart, can't lose.
Happy birthday, Mom.